Hi everyone, I'm Anika Ray. I'm a spiritual intuitive teacher and coach. Welcome to my channel. I have devoted this channel to providing you spiritual insight, guidance, and also teaching you about these higher realms that I had the honor to really get to know through my gifts, but also through extensive training. And in this video, we are going to jump into a collective reading. This is collective guidance for all of us. And you can take the parts that really resonate for you and just leave the rest. There are going to be two parts to this collective reading. Part one will be intuitive messages, really channeled intuitive messages that are coming through from the guides and from Spirit Guide Universe, as they say. And then the second part will ground the reading into the Tarot Oracle reading. We'll use that psychic tool. So let's jump right into our part one. So for this week, what I'm really noticing is that the energy may feel quite unstable. We are getting to experience some astrological things, but also what I'm perceiving from Spirit is generally where things are in the collective. It may feel quite unstable. You're being called to not only ground yourself, but to recognize the role or what you're trying to gain. What kind of wisdom can you gain from, the lack of better word, this instability? There's something there that is really kind of resonating with you, or something that's showing up for you that is sort of like a lesson. And what do I mean by this? We all know what's going on around the world. There's a lot of instability, but the lesson for a lot of us is about survival. This is about, how do I shift out of this survival consciousness? A lot of times the survival consciousness is about victim consciousness. How do I shift from that into this space where no matter what's coming up and what's happening energetically, I can receive it, I can perceive it, but I don't have to hold on to it. I can learn something out of it. And again, this is easier said than done, but that's what's coming up for a lot of us, right? Where are we rooted in our survival? Where are still our fears rooted into? How are we living? This can also be about our lifestyles as we are living right now. For a lot of you, you actually want to completely change your lifestyle. And I don't mean just like a diet and that kind of stuff. I mean like completely shift maybe where you live, how you live, how much do you work, how much you devote to really your play, your creativity, your experiences. A lot of you, including myself, are working really, really hard, and you're questioning whether you even have time to explore, maybe travel, or just even work. I see for a lot of you is maybe your passion is about working abroad or working in another country, exploring other ways of living. Maybe for a lot of you, it is about kind of like the nomadic living. For a lot of you, maybe it is about influencing or living in a way that the way you live, you may impact other people. And for some, it could be simply like, again, for minorities here, I see the shift in lifestyle, just like making minor adjustments based on where you're struggling in. And kind of devoting a lot more time to yourself, because there is this element of burnout that Spirit is really being loud about. Like if you're feeling like you're burning out, you don't have enough time for yourself, you're overworking yourself, and it doesn't matter whether this is serving others, right? For a lot of you, you may be very active serving others. Maybe you're healers, intuitives, or even I see like advocacy, like community work. So maybe you are overworking yourself, and there is a need for you to have some time for yourself. however you see that fit. Another thing that is coming through very much is in this time of instability, what's being impacted a lot is this emotional dynamic within self, and particularly the inner child wounding. The survival, a lot of times, is what we have learned in childhood from our parents and from the collective. And it's bringing you back to that point where you have given up like that ability to truly experience life and to see life as this nice place, right? As a gift, opposed to seeing it as this place of struggle. What Spirit is bringing about is that, yes, two things can be true at the same time. There is this element of survival that we all bought into. I mean, myself included, that we need to pay our bills and, just live with responsibilities, and not that responsibilities are bad, but it's kind of like that rat race that it's almost like no end in sight. And you're like recycling and doing the same thing over and over again. And it is a part of survival. And just like I have to have a job, I have to work 9 to 5, or, I have to pay my bills, I have to do things that are required of me, instead of this other truth, which life is not always about survival. It is about not just thriving, but like that enjoyment, like leisure, like going into, just sort of like relaxing and enjoying. And there's a need to find, again, that balance. But this brings us back to that inner child that has learned that the price of survival is really sacrificing this moments of rest and enjoyment. And it is important that we have that in our lives, and that there is this balance. And one of the ways is through really showing your inner child that there is this different reality. And how you're going to show that is maybe through meditation, but what's really coming through is gift your inner child the opportunity to play. Gifted in a sense through meditation, like as if you are giving it a gift. You're also giving yourself permission to step into that space as your inner child steps into that space, and then honor it by the way that it really invigorates your inner child. I know for me, what's coming through is creativity. I mean, music has been my friend since I was a child. When I don't have music, my inner child is really like unhappy. And also sort of like any kind of creativity and outlet that allows me to express that. Plus, any kind of excitement and any kind of way of me participating or seeing art and creativity is really great. I happen to live in the place of capital of entertainment. I'm in Las Vegas, and that is not, it's not an easy thing because there are so many choices, but then I also sometimes crave, theater and just like entertainment that's more creativity, that's more like rooted in tradition. So whatever that is for you, honor your inner child, gift it that gift of the life can be about pleasure and enjoyment, and, really this gift that where we're not only working and surviving, but we are in a sense thriving through things that we actually love to do. For some of you, this could simply mean going out into the nature and just camping and connecting to the nature because you did that as a child. Or it could mean dancing. I see a lot of movement, so some of you may be dancers. So dancing, it could also mean athletic things. Like I see for some of you, they're giving me an image of swimming. Like maybe you were an athlete in college and you completely forgot about that. Or, maybe you live in a different place that is not. I live in a desert, so I really don't have a lot of access to the ocean. But if you don't, then, swimming pools are great. Not the same, but, and then traveling, right? Experiencing that through travel. But I definitely see this being a part of our inner child. And then the third thing that I'm really perceiving or receiving here is that maybe a lot of you question how far you've come in your spiritual growth. I know I have those doubts myself, but what Spirit is really giving us and what the guides are encouraging you is to take your time where the time is needed. If you shift your relationship to time, you may also honor yourself in this space of spiritual growth. So, you don't have to rush through things. And spiritual growth can be anything from you taking courses, classes, working on your own with the guides, or just meditating. For a lot of you, I do see you meditate a lot, and this is your outlet into spiritual growth, which is awesome. Some of you, I'm getting breath work, I'm getting meditation, I'm getting some sort of healing, maybe chakra balancing, maybe sound healing or therapy. Spiritual growth can be anything from that to some of you are actually reading books. Maybe you're even writing books or planning on writing books. But some of you are speakers, authors. Some of you are just doing that as an outlet into your spiritual growth. It's not your profession or a career, which is great. And you, again, taking that time for yourself and your spiritual growth does not mean you're slacking, you're not doing anything, you're not following certain pathway. A lot of information is thrown out there on the internet. And again, I'm not a guru, I'm a guide, and it's not needed for you to be studious. Studious is the word that's really coming through here. There's not a need to be super studious, but there is a need for you to take time and to process or integrate this material, to just live with it. And there is no rush, there is no clock to this. You are growing all the time, sometimes even through just conversation. Sometimes what I'm talking about can inspire you to say to yourself, okay, am I really judging myself too harsh when it comes to spiritual growth? Am I feeling like I'm stuck and I'm not growing, I'm not expanding? Am I supposed to feel this ascension? And what's coming through from Spirit is take your time with anything that interests you as a spiritual growth. And that could be anything from literally these spiritual tools that we mentioned to just simply having conversations. I do see like forums online. So maybe some of you are going on Reddit or Quora or whatever the threads are, maybe online on YouTube, where you're having these conversations, maybe even in groups, and that stimulates your spiritual growth. You don't have to sit down and become, again, studious, even though at times you are going to, be drawn to learning. Sometimes it is processing through conversations and taking your time through different spiritual tools. So this is what I'm getting for this intuitive download. I hope you have enjoyed this part. And if you do, please like, share, subscribe. I will be posting this. If you're interested in readings, now I do offer Akashic Records readings if you are into soul readings. That is really my specialty, but I love the intuitive and channeled messages. And the reading will look similar to this. We'll open up. Of course, I would prefer your questions. So if you're interested, I will leave the links in the description. And then we're going to jump into part 2, which is also a part of my intuitive and channeled readings, grounding this with Oracle and tarot cards, which is so much fun. So I will see you in part 2. All right, welcome to that second part of the reading. This is where we do the Oracle and Tarot spread. And it's interesting, again, I shuffle very much based on, like slowing myself down and how Spirit wants this to come out. So I've been guided to pull these 3 cards and then to really move more into the oracles today, which is great because the angels are actually speaking to us. This is the Angel Tarot, and it's very interesting what we're getting. Again, the first card is this Page of Water. So this card, Page of Water, It's a beautiful card from this deck, and it says here, sensitive, open-hearted, intuitive. The Page of Water is the Page of Cups. And this is really about emotional fulfillment. So you're being called to acknowledge where your emotional fulfillment is. This could be something that you have maybe put aside on the side, or maybe you have neglected a part of yourself or something that you have done in your life before. In the first part, we talked about acknowledging something that you do for leisure, really not overworking yourself. But this is something that could fit this part, but also it is a piece that really is referring to you neglecting a piece of yourself, something you were passionate about, something you were working on, and where is that emotional fulfillment? Either this is something you set aside and you need to bring that up, or it's something new that's showing up that has been buried from past lives and it's coming from this space. Now, this could mean an activity, which is what I'm really picking up on, something you used to do, something that was really enjoyable to you. Think of something from the childhood. If this is something from the past life, you will be drawn to it. For a lot of you, I'm being drawn to the images of you writing something that came from past lives, right? You were a writer in the past lives, and this is something that you may not have been open to in this lifetime, but it's calling you. The angels are letting you know that it is safe, that it's okay to turn to your emotional fulfillment, what makes you happy, what you have neglected in the past that's coming through right now, that's safe to express, whether from childhood, past lives, or even your young adulthood. Now, it's interesting, I didn't even see the Six of Water, the Six of Cups. The past is right showing up for us again. And I wasn't even glancing towards this card, yet I see it now. Six of Cups is something that refers to the past. So this emotional fulfillment is leading you back into the childhood, nostalgia, memories. This is very much about honoring your inner child. This is also about looking at that childhood in a different light. So, what you experience in childhood. Not everybody's childhood has been amazing. As a matter of fact, most of our childhoods were not. And so we want to acknowledge that, but we want to also look at it in a different light. And that helps us by processing some old emotional wounds. It's going to come up through this divine. In this card, we see the feather. The feather is a symbol of angels. So inviting the angels into your energy, inviting the divine into your energy to process any heartbreaks, any wounding from past lives or from this lifetime particularly, can bring about or open you up to really receive what was in that first card. And whether these memories were pleasant or unpleasant, when you're surrounded by light, it amplifies it, cleanses it. It brings that angelic presence. The angels are really encouraging you to look at the past in a different light. And then whatever this is that you're maybe worrying about, the Five of Earth is, Five of Pentacles. I am sensing that whatever it is that's happened to you in childhood and you burying these things that you are passionate about, whether from childhood or past lives that we mentioned, that is really connected to, again, something that has happened to you. And if so, it really is touching on the lack and in your life. It made you feel less than. For a lot of you, it could be like that less than, feeling unworthy of receiving and worrying about, I see a lot of you maybe worrying about, maybe abundance issues, things that are earthly, right? Maybe you're worried about money You're worried about a job, getting a job, worried about your children's lives in a sense of their future. So I want to encourage you to, again, turn to the angelic help. And this card really shows you this Five of Pentacles, the angel that's coming through the doorway. And if you can imagine that for yourself, the angels coming in. Now, I do feel presence of Archangel Zadkiel and Archangel Michael, but also Archangel Raphael. And if you resonate with these archangels, then you also, may call upon them. I also am getting a sense that the angels that are surrounding you are also angels of love. I see this cherub energy, and they are very much there to give you the love that you did not get as a child, or that you have not received in young adulthood. Now, I do want to turn to this deck, which is, if I can show it to you, it's the Angel card deck, and I'm going to pull from that deck. And forgive me, I need to take it out of the box, but give me just a few seconds and I will. And so I really like this deck, and I love working with angels. And I'm going to pull some cards. Now, her cards are very symbolic. So, it's going to be a really beautiful picture. It's almost like that heart and soul of the angels is exactly what it says. And then there is going to be some things that we look into, maybe the book if we have the time, because it goes by the image. So please give me some grace for finding that. So we have this beautiful imagery, and we also have this beautiful angel wings. So I'm going to find that in a book, but let me interpret this intuitively. Now, Spirit is asking me to pull 2 more cards. So I'm going to do that first. There's the card on the bottom. So that's the one I'm going to pick. And then the number 3 from the top. Sometimes Spirit will give me numbers as well. Look, that's beautiful as well. So let me make sure that you can also, that this is in focus, that you can see these beautiful cards. The first card, what I'm really sensing is that at times, and this is like a channel message, really at times of worry, at times of pain, remember that there is this presence of light around you and within you, and that you have come to experience the light and the ascension part in a way that really serves you. That this second card really points to me to not only the wings, but also to the center of your being and perception. Can you look into the light? Can you look into yourself from the way that you're being looked at from the perspective of the angels? And then let's, at this point, I want to see if I can find the meaning so that we don't go too deep into this. And please bear with me as I do that. And as I look into this deck, because it goes by images. So we are finding this first card being the angel, guardian angel of 2 moons. So this is Mirabelle, guardian angel of 2 moons. It is a card of cleansing, purifying, healing heart and soul. So that's the first card that really came through. And then the other card that came through was Ezekiel, guardian angel of comets and meteors. This is the card of inner wisdom. This is what I mentioned, like really finding that, looking at your life in a different way. And that's the card of inspiration, inner wisdom, and a oneness. So Mirabel, guardian angel of 2 moons, reminding us of the purifying, healing, right, light and energy. And then Ezekiel, guardian angel of comets and meteors. Now, I'm not going to read all the descriptions and go into everything because we have quite a few things to cover. But I will encourage you to look into these angels, and really it's about light angels, the 12 essence of the light angels. That's what I'm getting. This is what the suit is. Now I'm gonna interpret these and then look for them in a book, but to me this is a card of transformation. I don't know if you can see this beautiful butterfly of light, the transformation that comes from you feeling this healing, protection, inspiration, and looking at your life in a different way. It allows you to transform. Now, this transformation, it may not always be easy. It may not be, right, the most pleasant thing that you experience or find, but nevertheless, it is very powerful, and you will find yourself in that place or space where you are embracing this transformation. And then we have this other energy that's coming through, and notice that there is like a little rainbow on this card. And to me, this symbolizes this: as you are transforming, you are embodying the variety of experiences in your life that are opening pathways to more love and light for yourself and for others. This presence of rainbow also may be the presence of you being a rainbow child in some way. That could be significant for you, right? And just to let you know, I'm getting Halili, guardian angel of colors and also creation. So opening these pathways can mean that's the card of mastery. This is what's that transformation I was talking about. It really allows you to step into this mastery. For me, this is about, right, embodying more of that rainbow child that you are, many pathways of creativity and mastery, but it has to come through this transformation that I'm really seeing here. And give me just a second to find this other card, which for some reason I don't see yet. I see it. It's Seraphiel, ruler of Seraphim. Seraphim is a really master card working with Seraphim angels. And Seraphim angels are huge and they're very protective. If you are into Seraphim blueprint, this could mean something to you. But it is about working with these particular angels. And just so that you know, it is a highly spiritual life path. Invite you, right, to step into and become the vehicle for this seraphim angels and energy. And it is really about key to that universal consciousness, unity consciousness, connecting to the spirit. But in my interpretation, it also is, and that requires some transformation. So hopefully you like these angel cards. A lot of angelic presence for us today as we ground this reading. Now I'm going to turn to the other oracle cards that I was guided to share with you as the guidance, right? And the first one is the healing spirit. So I'm going to pull that deck and we're going to jump into that. Now in this one, I'm probably going to read you some stuff. But let's first see what we pick up from these oracle cards. I love this deck. I didn't even know how and where I got it. Usually I kind of recognize the deck. And the first card that, and for Spirit is only saying one card from this. This is the light. The light is light in you can lead the way. And again, it speaks to everything that we talked about so far, right? So far, we really talked about emotional fulfillment, the light that surrounds you from the childhood, healing those wounding spaces, looking at it with angelic help in a different way, transforming, stepping into that higher creativity. To me, also interestingly enough, is this beautiful color that's showing up. This is the crown chakra color. We have a lot of amethyst here. I do want to bring in the numbers or the frequencies, and I know this is going to sound very strange for you, but if you're into numerology, it'll make sense. 8134. 8134. Not for all of you. For some of you, it's just 813. For some of you, it's 8134. 8 is the light, the vibration of the infinity. It is about self-love in this aspect. 1 is the path of individual awakening. 3 is the unity consciousness that comes with it. And 4, for some of you, is stepping out of the bounds of what you have known to be the reality. So if you feel, compelled, and if you add these numbers, you will get 3 again if you just add like 8, 1, and 3, right? 8, 1, 9, and 3 is 12. So that's a 3 again. So the number 8 and the 3. But if you add to that 3 and 4, you get a 7, which is a spiritual path. So not to confuse you, if you are drawn to the number, to the frequencies of the numbers, repeating these frequencies, 8134 or 813, depending on what you're drawn to, can really help you embody this. Now, I do want to see also what this author, which is easy because we're just looking for card number 46 as well. Now we know that adds to 1. So the light in you can lead the way. All of us will have to walk through times of shadow, which is what we kind of had here, right? In this world, if we live long enough. But you have the power to light up even the darkest corners of your mind. You're a part of the universal light that casts out of shadows, and because of this, the guardian spirits of the universe would always give you their strength when you need it. Even when your light burns low, you can turn to them, and all that is good and true will shine through your being. Day always follows night and removes the shadow of yesterday. Light up the new day for someone who needs it. This also talks about, that path of self-love. Lighting, finding the light for yourself, being a reference point for other people. But nevertheless, it really fits with our theme as we're looking at it. And if you want to open up, this symbolizes the crown chakra, but I'm also seeing green. So the chakra that is green, obviously, it's heart chakra. So opening that heart chakra, balancing the heart chakra, working with the heart chakra is a powerful thing. And then our final deck that's showing up for us for this reading is Kyle Gray, which a lot of people really love Kyle Gray, and I love him as well. I just love the authenticity and the vibrancy of the cards. And this is really the keepers of again, everything is about the light, so wonderful. Now I'm guided to pull 2 cards. Now these are actually ascended masters, beings of light that are assisting you through this process. So we want to see Lord Ganesh, and I'm going to bring this up to you as well to show you, because I really love showing the cards. And I'm going to pull one more card for you, and this one is sticking out, Melchizedek. And if you're into channeled messages, I did channel Melchizedek for this past week, so look into my channel in the channeled messages. I am going to refer to what he says, but this is about, Lord Ganesh says, obstacles are being removed, spiritual support and connections are increasing. Now, again, this is bringing me to this beautiful flower as well. If you can see it, there's this beautiful flower that's showing up. This is like a lotus flower. And again, color purple. But in this, green and purple, we have again crown and we have the crown and heart chakra, sorry. Lord Ganesh, right? Infinite abundance. As you are going through this process, which emotional fulfillment, addressing the wounding from childhood, past lives, that is connected to what your joy is, and really tackling that shadow aspect of worry or lack, that you're supported by the light, that you're seeing this through a different perspective with the angels, that this is a transformation where you're stepping more into your mastery, into your creativity, that the light is all around you, supporting you, that this is a path of self-love. Ultimately, Lord Ganesh is saying that unity consciousness to me comes from acknowledging the path that you take as a human, looking into your shadow self, and removing these obstacles by looking at them in a different way. And you can call Lord Ganesh to help you, if you believe in this deity, right? To help you as you are removing these obstacles, as you're working on your shadows, as you're going into the space of more self-love. And then we have Melchizedek as higher learning. You have learned from your experience. Now, I don't know that you can completely see, but I'm going to pull this card again so you can see this card, and maybe, let's see, move these cards a little bit so you can see them better. I know for some of you want to see the whole reading. Unfortunately, I'm not that handy with a camera, but I try to show you everything so you can have it. But Lord Melchizedek is really guiding you to understand more inner study is required to further progress. So if you're called to, like this card was, really step into that space of, like, the rainbow child is someone who is kind of like a rainbow, embodying all of the different parts of, learning. And it's very much going into different, it's almost like having that Sagittarian quality. And exploring different things. Now, what is higher learning is, for a lot of you, can be you are called to do this inner learning through your experience, but also I'm seeing a lot of books. And I'm seeing metaphysical books for some of you. I'm seeing some self-help books for some of you. And I'm seeing some healing books for some of you. So very different approach to learning. And I also see that you can call on Melchizedek. Now, interestingly enough, this brings us to the light body. So the healing is not only happening on the levels of you healing through words or through advice or guidance that you're seeking, but you're also learning from the Ascended Masters, and you can call in and you're learning through energetic upgrades. This brings you up to this energetic upgrades. Plus, I want you to pay attention that Melchizedek has this bird, which looks like the angel wings, a lot of angelic energy present here. Now, I do want to briefly touch on what Kyle Gray is saying about Lord Ganesh and about Melchizedek. So bear with me as I find that and read that to you, because I do like to honor the author as well. So again, Ganesh is a Hindu elephant-headed god, the son of Lord Shiva and the goddess Parvati. Legend says he received the elephant head as a replacement after his father sliced his human one off and he mistook him for an intruder. Ganesh is acknowledged as the Lord who removes obstacles and is much loved by taxi drivers in India because they believe he helps them weave in and out of crazy traffic. Ganesh is a sweet-toothed, life-loving, joyful, dancing, and very approachable god. He will also use his light to weave a perfect path for you. So this is the message. It's important at this time to move beyond the limitation, and it's not meant to be, and focus on, if this is for my highest good, and then the universe will take me there safely. Ganesh is not only bringing a clear light to your external situation, but also helping you clear up any inner conflicts. When obstacles arise, know that they are just reminders that you care about your path and that you have the ability to change your current situation. So if you want to increase your connection to him, you can also chant in Sanskrit, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. But you can look that up on the internet. I don't want to butcher this because I don't speak Sanskrit fluently, right? I know some words. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You can look that up on the internet as well. Now we want to see what it says about Melchizedek, which is on a different page. So Melchizedek is a high priest who is mentored in the Bible's book of Genesis and many other sources too. He's here to assist the earth through the ascension process, which is basically moving everyone and everything back to a state of love and harmony. He appears with bright light around him and a long white beard to match his ancient high priest ways, as it is said to have his own order of light-filled priests who are able to help spiritual people develop their gifts and qualities. As he works on a high energetic level, you can connect with him through sacred geometry and by focusing on ancient star-shaped symbols. Extended messages that you have learned so much at this point, that you're learning more every day. You're recognizing all the great lessons, your experiences, and challenges has brought to you, and you're preparing for a transition of inner ascension where you will move beyond to another level of fear and into inner sanctum of your heart and soul, which is why this heart chakra has been showing up and crown chakra as well. There's a sense that you're now able to focus in a new way and offer greater light to the world, which explains why I'm seeing the books and other things. Melchizedek and his order are with you now, leading you towards spiritual wisdom. And that's what I saw, spiritual books. So if you're drawn to that, by all means, this is something that can validate your experience. Meditate as well to connect to that inner light as well. So hopefully this reading has helped you in some way. I'm going to end it there. I will end it with an affirmation here. And this is that the light is you and you are the light. Follow it as it guides you into the known and unknown paths. And somehow I feel like Melchizedek is almost talking through you, but this is the affirmation that I have. You can repeat it. You don't have to, but open your heart to receive it. Open your heart to receive this reading. If you have liked anything about this reading, please like, share, subscribe, and come back again. And again, if you are into readings, follow the part 1, because that will be the way that the reading flows with intuitive downloads and then into the oracle and tarot part. It was my honor to guide you through this reading and give you this reading. Please receive it as a gift from me and the universe. And love and light to you, my friends. I will see you next time.